The Psychology of Influence: How to Persuade and Lead Others. Introduction. Every day, whether we realize it or not, we are influencing people, and they are influencing us. From convincing a child to finish homework, to negotiating a business deal, to inspiring a team at work, influence is the invisible force that shapes our world. The question is, do you understand how influence works? Or are you being influenced without even knowing it? In this audiobook-style lesson, we'll explore the psychology of influence, uncover the principles behind persuasion, and learn how to use them ethically to inspire and lead others. Lesson 1. The foundation of influence: trust. Influence doesn't start with clever words, tricks, or strategies. It starts with trust. Imagine for a moment, if someone you don't trust tries to convince you of something, what's your reaction? You tune out. You reject their advice. You walk away. That's why trust is the foundation of influence. Without it, nothing else matters. So, what is trust built on? 3 simple things. Consistency, doing what you say you'll do, not just once, but over and over again. If you promise to show up, show up. If you promise to deliver, deliver. Over time, people see you as dependable. Transparency, being open and honest, even when it's uncomfortable. Hiding mistakes or pretending to be perfect destroys trust. Admitting when you're wrong builds respect. Integrity, making choices that align with your values, even when no one is watching. Integrity is when your actions match your words. Think about it this way. Would you trust a friend who constantly lies, breaks promises, or disappears when you need them? Probably not. The same applies in business, leadership, or relationships. If people can't rely on you, they won't follow you. Here's the truth. Influence doesn't come from power, it comes from credibility. When people believe in your character, when they know your words and actions line up, they naturally listen to you. That's why the first step to becoming truly influential isn't about learning fancy techniques. It's about becoming the kind of person others can believe in. Trust is slow to build, but fast to lose. Protect it, nurture it, and your influence will grow naturally. Lesson 2. The power of reciprocity. One of the most powerful principles of human psychology is something called reciprocity. Simply put, it means when someone gives to us, we naturally feel the need to give something back. Think about it in everyday life. If a friend buys you coffee, don't you feel like buying the next round? If someone gives you a thoughtful gift, you want to return the favor. Even something as small as a compliment can make you feel like giving one back. This isn't just culture, it's human nature. Now here's where it gets interesting. Smart leaders and influencers use this principle ethically. Instead of starting by asking for something, they start by giving. They share knowledge. They offer genuine help. They give encouragement, kindness, or even opportunities. And when people receive value without being asked for anything in return, they naturally become more open, more trusting, and more willing to listen. For example, imagine a teacher who spends extra time helping students after class. Later, when that teacher asks the class to try harder on an assignment, the students are more willing because they feel the teacher has already given them something valuable. Or in business, a company that gives away free tips, resources, or samples often finds customers coming back to buy more, not because they were forced, but because they felt a sense of gratitude and trust. Here's the lesson. If you want influence, don't begin by asking. Begin
by giving. Give value first, and influence will follow.
Lesson 3. Social proof and belonging. Human beings are social by nature. From the time we're children, we look around at others to figure out what's normal, what's acceptable, and what's right. This natural instinct is called social proof. Here's how it works. If you walk into a restaurant and it's completely empty, you wonder if the food is bad. But if you see a long line outside another restaurant, you immediately think, that place must be good. That's the power of social proof. You don't even need to try it yourself. The crowd already convinces you. In today's world, we see this everywhere. On social media, when a video has millions of views, more people click, simply because they don't want to miss out. When a product has hundreds of 5-star reviews, we feel safer buying it. And when we see others following a leader, joining a movement, or supporting a cause, we're more likely to join too, because we don't want to be left behind. Leaders and influencers can use this principle ethically. How? By showing evidence. Share testimonials, real people who benefited from your work. Show results and success stories, proof that what you do makes a difference. Build communities, spaces where people can connect and feel part of something bigger than themselves. Remember this, people don't just follow information, they follow people, and more importantly, they follow other people who are already following. When others trust you, it multiplies your influence. And at the heart of this principle is something even deeper, belonging. People want to feel included, part of a tribe, connected to others who share their goals and values. The stronger the sense of belonging you create, the stronger your influence becomes. So here's the lesson. If you want to inspire action, don't just stand alone. Create proof, create community, and people will naturally want to be part of what you're building.
Lesson 4. Authority and expertise. Human beings are wired to respect authority and expertise. From an early age, we're taught to listen to parents, teachers, doctors, and leaders. And even as adults, this continues. Think about it. If a doctor in a white coat gives you medical advice, you're far more likely to follow it than if a stranger on the street tells you the same thing. If a professor lectures on history, we pay attention because of their years of study. Even in daily life, someone who speaks with confidence and demonstrates knowledge naturally earns respect. This is the power of authority. People trust those who appear to know what they're talking about. So how can you use this principle to increase your influence? Position yourself as an expert. Share what you know. Don't hide your skills. Let people see your knowledge. Show results. People respect proof. If you've helped others, share their stories. If you've achieved success, let the results speak for themselves. Demonstrate competence. This doesn't mean pretending to know everything. It means doing your work well, being reliable, and always striving to improve. But here's something very important. Authority without empathy feels like domination. Nobody likes a know-it-all who talks down to others. True influence comes when you balance knowledge with humility. When people see that you not only understand the subject, but also care about them, your influence multiplies. Think about the difference between two leaders. One leader says, "I'm the expert, so just do what I say." That creates resistance. Another says, "Here's what I know, and here's how it can help you." That creates connection. The second leader combines expertise with empathy, and that's when influence becomes powerful. So remember, people are eager to follow those who know their craft, show their results, and genuinely care about others. That's the true authority worth having.
Lesson 5. Consistency and commitment. Another powerful principle of influence is the idea of consistency. Human beings have a deep need to stay consistent with what they say and do. Once we commit to something, even something small, we feel an inner push to keep going. Why is that? Because inconsistency feels uncomfortable. If we say one thing but do another, we feel guilty or uneasy. To avoid that tension, we prefer to act in line with our previous choices. Here's a simple example. Imagine you agree to help a friend move boxes for just 1 hour. Later, if they ask you to stay for another hour, you're more likely to say yes, because you've already said yes once. Saying yes again feels consistent with who you are. Another example is in personal growth. If someone makes a small commitment, like exercising just 2 times a week, that small step often leads to a bigger lifestyle change. They start eating healthier, working out more often, and eventually living a healthier life overall. That one small yes opened the door to many more. Leaders and influencers understand this principle and use it ethically. Instead of asking for something big right away, they encourage small commitments first. A coach might ask an athlete to show up for one short practice before committing to a full season. A teacher might ask students to read just 5 pages before expecting them to finish the whole book. A business might ask for an email sign-up before asking for a full purchase. Each small step creates momentum, and once people start moving in a direction, they're more likely to keep going because it aligns with their identity and past actions. So here's the lesson. Don't push for the giant leap right away. Encourage small, simple commitments first. Once people take the first step, their own desire for consistency will often carry them forward.
Lesson 6. The role of emotion in influence. When it comes to influencing people, here's something powerful to remember. Logic makes people think, but emotion makes people act. You can present the best facts, the strongest arguments, and the most detailed statistics, but if they don't touch someone's emotions, they won't move. People rarely make decisions purely with reason. They make them with feelings and then use logic to justify those feelings afterward. Think about the emotions that drive human behavior. Fear. Fear of loss, fear of failure, fear of missing out. Fear can push people to take action quickly. Excitement. The thrill of a new opportunity, a dream job, or financial freedom can motivate people to move forward. Love and care. Wanting to protect family, provide for loved ones, or make others proud can be one of the strongest motivators. Belonging. The desire to fit in, to be part of a group, or to share in a common cause drives countless decisions. Great leaders and communicators understand this. They don't just deliver cold facts, they tell stories that connect emotionally. Take Martin Luther King Jr.'s famous "I Have a Dream" speech. He didn't list policies or laws in detail. Instead, he painted an emotional picture of a world filled with equality, justice, and unity. People didn't just understand his message, they felt it. And that's why it inspired millions. In business, in leadership, and even in personal relationships, the same truth applies. If you want to influence someone, don't only focus on what's logical, speak to their heart. Tell stories, share visions, and connect with their emotions. Because in the end, facts may convince the mind, but emotions move the soul. And action always follows emotion.
Lesson 7. Ethical influence versus manipulation. When we talk about influence, it's important to pause and draw a clear line. There's a big difference between influence and manipulation. At first glance, they may look similar. Both involve guiding people's thoughts, decisions, or actions, but the intention behind them is completely different. Influence is about creating win-win outcomes. It's guiding people toward choices that help them and help you. True influence uplifts, empowers, and respects the other person's freedom of choice. Manipulation, on the other hand, is self-serving.
It's when one person tries to control or deceive others so only they benefit, often at the expense of the other person. For example, a leader who inspires their team to work hard because it will help everyone grow, that's influence. But a boss who tricks employees into working overtime without fair pay, that's manipulation. Or in relationships, encouraging a friend to pursue their dreams, even if it's hard, that's influence. Guilt-tripping them into doing what only benefits you, that's manipulation. The difference is clear. Influence builds trust. Manipulation destroys it. True leaders and ethical influencers always choose the higher path. They don't use psychology to exploit. They use it to encourage. They don't take advantage of weaknesses. They help people grow stronger. And here's the key. When you influence ethically, your impact lasts. People will follow you not because they're tricked, but because they genuinely believe in you. So the lesson is this. Use influence as a force for good. Don't exploit, uplift. Don't control, inspire. That's the kind of influence that builds lasting respect and legacy.
Conclusion. Influence is not about controlling people or forcing them to do what you want. It's about understanding human psychology and using it to inspire, persuade, and guide others in a way that benefits everyone. When you master the psychology of influence, you don't just become a more effective leader. You become someone who creates positive change in the lives of others. Think about Mahatma Gandhi. He didn't have wealth, he didn't have an army, and he didn't use force. Yet through trust, consistency, and moral authority, he influenced millions of people to stand up for freedom through nonviolence. That's the power of influence used ethically. It transforms people and even nations. Or take someone like Nelson Mandela. After spending 27 years in prison, he emerged not with anger, but with forgiveness and vision. His influence united a divided country, not through manipulation or control, but through character, trust, and compassion. These examples show us a timeless truth. Real influence doesn't come from power. It comes from trust, empathy, and consistent action. So the next time you interact with someone, whether it's a colleague, a friend, or a family member, remember this. Small acts of trust, kindness, and consistency can create ripples of influence that last a lifetime. If you want to lead, start with service. If you want to inspire, start with authenticity. And if you want influence that endures, use it to uplift others. That is the psychology of true influence.